the only places that he could look to retreat towards were straight into the hands of other duos.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate that the zone is still floating around the north side of the map, because if we had a far southern zone or even towards the northwest, but most of those teams would be out of here already. Maybe a few sprinkled around, but it'd be definitely easier than this. Getting pushed by Jargu, sliver of HP. Carillion from the other side, they pick up that elimination. And there's one thing about Carillion and Jargu. It's a team you could almost never count out. They got in through that last opportunity, switching teammates. They get into the FNCS finals at the bottom of that bubble.
And you can see their kind of slow approach to that fight as we take a look towards another fight that has seemingly reached a bit of a stalemate. We're going to be looking at Aminish and Javi. They hear that overdrive grenade go off. They're going to be taking a look. They're not going to fall short to a little bit of a fooled plan, similar to how Shark and Tini did earlier on. They can actually see the players disappear off in the distance, so they know they actually did use that grenade to go ahead and rotate out.
Like the idea there, though, from Bakusin here. They don't need to stick around. They've actually had a lot of success already on the starting point today. I believe they were in that 8th place position on the leaderboard entering this halfway point of today's competition. So the only things really left to do is wait and see what are Chino and Pablo going to do with this legendary POI.
Oh my gosh, what are Pablo and Chino going to do with it? What is the rest of the lobby going to do with it as well? Take a look at the map. I can't even count that high, Jacob. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams. I think there's like a solo in there somewhere as well. The zone seemingly is going a little bit further south of Sandy Strip, but every single team is looking to claim some early real estate towards this POI.
I think they heard you, because as you said 7, another team floated. Wait for us. We want to join the party as well. And there's so many others in the outskirts. So for Chino and Pablo, they kind of have a little bit of advantage here. They were the first to set their flag at this POI, so every team that rotates in thereafter will not know exactly where they're at, what builds are theirs, so you got to be very, very cognizant of getting caught off guard.
Size and Scary, they are one duo that is yet to throw their name into the hat for contention over by Sandy Strip. They're still hanging out near Builders Barracks, and Size, Scary, Spaniards hoping to try and represent, but at the same time, Jacob, coming from that EU nation, they've had a lot of experience with dealing with aggressive fighting styles, and yet still here today, sitting at only 20 points.
Yeah, I'm not too worried just yet. This is game 3, so by the time this one's over, that's when you really look at the leaderboard and see how much the point thresholds control your destiny. But coming into this one, I was thinking, okay, you need 3 decent performances maybe to get top 25, 2 pop-off games, or in some cases, if you're Yapko, Panzer, Cold Rapid, or Acorn and Bolts, you might just need 1.
Peterbot and Pollo back and forth between POIs, right? They continue to try to find some sort of successful aggression. As you can see right there, 1 elimination on Peterbot right now. I did see off screen that's actually going to come off of the back of a reboot, so they were fully aware of the opportunity with that. And I did have sort of like a drive-by conversation with Fax today. I was like, dude, we got to be feeling good, right? Back-to-back NA wins. He was just like, dude, I want Peterbot and Pollo to get in the mix, though.
Yeah, this is just so tough, though, because they are looking to get involved, but sadly, Minutes, Alco, the last thing that they ever wanted to see is Peterbot and Pollo barreling down on their position. Cammy and Hadi still hanging out by the lighthouse, though, tells me that they're just going to be looking to trail P and Pollo. They're not going to allow them to freely rotate, and that's going to potentially be a thorn in the side there for P and Pollo later on.
Yeah, huge annoyance, because they're a team that, you kind of said it yourself when you were talking to Fax, that they like to get aggressive. We want to see them get aggressive. But this isn't just an NAFNCS. This is the best of the entire world.
The best of the best. You don't see your fire the best.
Opportunities. Those windows will be smaller, and I think they're learning that with each and every game goes by. And that's why you think you see a huge drastic change out of the game plan in game 3 for Peterbot and Pollo.
Yeah, and keep a close eye on all of these teams like Noah and Reason, who actually went ahead. They left Sandy a little bit earlier on, right? We did see them kind of base up on one of those tall buildings. As you can see on the north side of the zone as it currently stands, what do we have? 4 duos kind of posted up here, ready to catch all of those rotates from all of those Sandy teams that we just kind of talked about. Because the zone pulls a little bit further south, all of those teams are eventually going to have to leave Sandy, which provides a great opportunity for anybody that left early to kind of base up and get all of the damage that they might need.
Reason just being proactive, shooting out trees, preventing other duos from having the opportunity to hide behind that natural terrain coverage. Urban Meadow, though, entirely different strategy. They're still hanging out in Battlewood Boulevard. They're hoping see if they can pick up some additional points here off the eliminations, and they might just find exactly what they're after. Ahmed trying to escape. He thinks there's nowhere left to run as Benno just easily clears those two out with Curve.
Yeah, that's one thing I've learned on NA when Venno won his inter-regional championship from EU and NA is you don't mess with the guy in his drop spot. Multiple times in that major final, teams were trying to steal away his loot. He just chased them down and sent them packing back to the lobby, which kind of helped his game plan because of Surge. But not everybody has that luxury being uncontested. Muzz and Sphinx know that to be a fact. Nebs and Nathan are contesting them off drop. It does seem like in this game they're splitting it, but what does that do to their loadout and their confidence?
Little check-in here with Pablo and Chino. We know that they land Sandy Strip, 280 damage above right now. They're going for some control. They're going for a little bit of a sneaky play onto some players, but everybody in the surrounding area is taking full advantage. They've done big damage on the Pablo and Chino. They're going to be forced to refresh right now. When we tune into them, they were 260 above, but as soon as they went ahead and took that fight, it seemingly took about 100 damage, and their net surge dropped by just that.
Ager's Ritual, they might have been one of those duos involved. Possibly even Ukun and Minifield. Shots were definitely exchanged. I don't even think it was Darman Deemish. They just immediately coned themselves off, prevented those tags are going to be through, but Pixie won't be able to weather the storm. Can Swizzy fare any better here? Still getting lit up by these surge tags. He has to find a full elimination, 192 below. He knows that there are players fighting nearby, but will he actually have a chance to strike?
Yeah, and he's officially on a clock. He has about 130 of HP to heal in this situation, which is not much. We're in the 5th zone. Now he's taken behind. It's going to go 2 to a 5 tick and active surge. All that damage is going to start to add up, and he is still below the damage threshold. 346. That's almost essentially 2 eliminations here that Swizzy needs to get by himself with his back pushed up against the wall. Even further now is Doxy, maybe X-Pawn as well, are trying to get elimination of their own.
Yes, Mary, no opportunity to go ahead and let Swizzy get any damage here as they're going to be using the overdrive grenades to go ahead and disengage. That is worst case scenario for Swizzy. For somebody that needs to do 300 damage, you want to be close, you want to be personal, because the shotgun is going to be your best friend. But as you can see right now, the chase is on. Not only does he need to go ahead and pick up both of these eliminations seemingly right now, but he needs to get in the zone. Finally, a tag comes in, 12 HP to work with, 2 ticks left. Swizzy's going to be going down.
There were only so many places left for Swizzy to actually venture through, and Doxy X-Pawn, they just played that one excellently. They knew that he was trapped. He had nowhere left to run to, and just like that, we're right back here at Sandy Strip, and the queue is going to be the worst nightmare right now for Minifio. It's sent everyone flying, but Chino, what kind of aim course is he running over here?
I need his routine right now. That was one of the most insane things I've seen in quite a while. Not only getting the knock mid-air, but cleaning up the eliminations, and that is exactly why they land at Sandy Strip. They know teams will float around and try to use that as a mode of rotation. We've seen multiple teams, not just then, get caught out because of it.
Super hard to make those rotations when there are just so many teams around. Speaking of hard rotations, Peterbot and Pollo landed all the way on the west side of the map, had to make their way all the way over here to Sanctuary. That being said, I feel like they found themselves in a very favorable position. 500 damage above, as I say that, drop that down to 300. But they have pretty much the high ground secured as it currently stands. We know they love to play high ground taco. Can they actually hold on to this throughout the rest of the game?
This is definitely the best sort of position that we have seen Peterbot and Pollo all 3 games so far today. Sky Scroll, on the other hand, though, way off in the distance, separated from the rest of the lobby, trying to see if they can just break in to the edge of zone, hoping that they get a chance to try and take out any duos that might be looking to try and cut them off, but instead will find a secure position to start tarping out, securing space, and now they can take the chance to look back.
Yeah, this is the point in the game where you have to stay alive. You've been in it for 7 zones. There's 26 teams. One more falls, and you start to get those placement points, so you don't want to have to look back and say, we wasted a lot of opportunities here throughout the tournament. Placement points are now starting to come in. 25 teams still up, but you see 49 players. That means someone in this lobby is running around as a solo.
Malabuka and Vico, right? They almost found the opportunity right there on Yuma and Koyoto. As you can see right now, the zone is actually pulling north. And when a pull like this happens, any team that's already based up here is going to have the opportunity to pick up the higher ground. And that's going to be Yuma and Koyoto as it currently stands. Tuning in with Sky and Scroll. We just looked at these guys 45 seconds ago. They had 21 materials to their name. Elims are going to be helping out with that.
And that's exactly where Sky was able to get the party started here with Chance and Tyler. The moment that they claim that front side low ground position, they are right back in the most comfortable driving seat. That's exactly where they had so much success in the EU Major 1 finals, and it looks like they finally managed to replicate it here in Game 3. But Deemish, Darm, talk about a duo that has been on the upswing all 3 games so far today. They've just been establishing their own territory. But Vico, Malabuka, big knock opportunity here, taking out Veno.
Yeah, they don't even necessarily need this fight. 3 players go down, no more Storm Surge. 1100 for them. Some shots coming in, so they're going to fall down just a little bit, but they're holding their ground. They know they have extra materials, so they're not afraid to overbuild and spend those mats.
Taking a look bottom right, I see Sky and Scroll already kind of establishing that low ground that they are known for. Cold and Rapid throughout the day, they've been known for coming out swinging, right? Winning game number 1. But I would imagine now that all the other teams are kind of feeling comfortable towards the higher ground, maybe they go ahead and go back to what they're used to.
But even with this elevation not really being a huge turning point, because we are in that south section of the map, Teeny, Shark, they're still on the high ground. They're still looking to take players out along the way. Shark able to help bring down Yapko, and they are still looking for more, Jake, as they continue tarping overhead, but you are never safe. You are not high enough to avoid the rest of the lobby just yet.
Yeah, especially in a meta where you got shockwaves and you got that fizz grenade, so you gotta expect things to happen at a moment's notice. Even Hari came, he trying to go ahead and shockwave forward, but they stayed on both separate ends for Sky and Scroll. They're making sure nobody can get a free flank. Meanwhile, Peterbot and Poyo, they're in the thick of it down below. They're trying to get as much damage, maybe even elimination. As of now, they're good on their loadout, they're good on loot, but they know eventually they're going to need an elimination.
So easy for this duo to quickly kind of change targets. Why nobody is pretty much safe when you are anywhere near that duo. They're going to be needed an elimination, and just as I say that, Rezon finds himself on the opposite side of things. Peterbot's going to be dropping down. The mats come in, but now they go ahead and need to make the rotation necessary that they need, and I'm sure we're going to be finding another elim that they're going to need, of course.
Well, we saw a big solo clutch for placement points out of Vico in the last lobby. Can Malabuka do the same here in Game 3? Overdrive grenade with a little bit of a stimmy effect on the movement, but look at Cold and Rapid. Isolated in the mid-ground, trying to take out players as they look back. Sky and Scroll, though, just left to their own devices here, completely trying to shut down what Greens and Twy have going on, but instead, they'll find themselves looking to stay moving forward. They still want to control front side. They still want to make sure that nobody else is going to be able to take over.
Yeah, sometimes for Sky and Scroll, you need to stumble before you wake up and start to play to your full potential. And this game is a real example of that. Same thing for Rapid and Cold. They won Game 1, and then they had a huge hurdle in their path for Game 2, and this is a chance to make up for it. Meanwhile, Vico, Malabuka, one of the most consistent teams we have still alive in this lobby, even as a solo.
Puta merda, mataram o Peterbot. Mataram o Peterbot. Mata o outro. Mata o Falcão. Mata o Polo.
Wow, to see what Polio can do right here, trying to find some sort of calm in the chaos.
Mata o
right now.
Polo.
He takes one quick
Mata o
breath
Polo.
right here. Malabuka, no opportunity for him to kind of slow down
Deitou
right
aí,
now.
já era, filho.
Pressure from duos all around him. He's going to be taking the opportunity to go ahead and jump.
Vai,
on the
Malibu.
Scroll and Sky. Look how comfortable these guys must feel. They have claimed the low ground.
Thomas and Focus at the
Vai,
right.
cachorrão.
Still doing it.
Oh, shit, man.
Malabuka now as a solo won't be able to keep the ball rolling here as Sky finds that elimination, but now back on height, it's Rapid and
Caralho,
Cold.
o Polo ainda tá vivo,
Already looking
desgraça.
to try and drop a little bit further. He wants the refreshes, he wants the eliminations, he knows that he can trust Rapid to just hold things down on height, but Poyo trying to take out Teeny. It's an even exchange here, but Poyo coming out on top because
Miséria,
Twy
mano.
is no
Ninguém
longer in
mata esse
existence.
miserável.
That elimination almost stolen by Cold and Rapid up above, but now
Toma.
they dropped down. They
Tomou.
said, hey, we're not going to steal that one, but they're
Morreu,
going to
desgraça.
take you out. Cold and Rapid on top, on high background right now, winners of game 1, Sky and Scroll are EU FNCS champions, and then you have Cringe. He can play the Thorn in this entire mix.
But take a look at Rapid. He's looking for opportunities to go ahead and help secure this 2v2. He's trying to pick up all the materials that he possibly can, trying to look for some angles. The overdrive grenade comes up. Sky and Scroll want to take the fight. The Cold and Rapid. Scroll does that, finds the Ethan, finds the knock on the Cold. They're going to be looking for the opposing player as well. Rapid, though, somehow, amongst all the chaos, ends up on height.
And Scroll, just like that, realizes his duo's in trouble.
Eita,
But Scroll, he's gonna
carai.
take over. Rapid has been eliminated.
X1,
Now the 1 versus
X1.
1. This is everything right now for
X1?
Sky and Scroll to finally get their chance to strike back. Cringe from overhead. He gets the leverage. Scroll with only 2 builds remaining. Can he find the closing shot? Just needs to get that max hit off the Chaos Reloader, but sure enough, Scroll can't do it. Cringe has won it out, and that's going to be game 3 for Cringe and Twice.
We had Cold and Rapid. We had Sky and Scroll. We had Cringe and the Shadows. And like thieves in the night, these guys have
Você, eu tinha matado
game
ele.
3 at the Major 1 Summit Land.
Tá
You
de
gotta
cringe aí.
imagine at this point in time, when you're playing that long as a solo, to come out on top and
The
actually
boots on
win
the
the
table,
game, they have to be
get
feeling great.
the boots on the
Cringe
table.
and Try, can you believe you just took down Sky and Scroll?
Sky and Scroll, really?
It was Sky and Scroll, it was that 2v2 situation. Talk me through it.
I mean, like, shit was
mean,
just easy,
like-
I'm not gonna lie.
Really? Was it really that easy? Because it looked quite tense for all of us watching.
I mean, bro, it wasn't that easy. He had to solo clutch it.
É o que, rapaz? O que esse
British
bicho tá
players,
falando?
you know, we have to
É o
talk
hit.
a big game. So talk to me about your game then. What is the plan here in Düsseldorf?
I mean, you just run around, eliminate everyone, and just win every endgame you make.
And it's interesting because I feel like some of the European teams have actually
muito
struggled with the
palhaçada.
zones with Net Surge. How have you been finding it?
Net Surge? I mean, you just run deep and chill. That's about it.
So all you've got to do is just W that key.
Yeah.
Yeah? King the W.
Yeah.
So, Düsseldorf, what do we think of Quiet and Cringe? Okay, then that's 3 games done. We're going to have a short break. When we come back, we'll be assessing all the action so far.
É. What you got? I'm being around and
Fortnite fam, welcome back to the FNCS Summit. Cringe and Twy get themselves a victory royale in a 1v1 situation.
Hold on.
Yeah?
I want to put my UK bias hat on.
Oh!
And I want to say UK on top. Cringe and Twy doing it for the boys.
I forgot my hat.
I got one for you.
You got another one?
I got one for
Thanks,
anyone
appreciate
that wants to join the bandwagon.
UK fans out there, represent.
Oh man, you guys can't kill me like this, all right? You gotta give me some time.
Where's your hat?
Congrats to them seeing them get a victory out in that situation. I can't believe it as well against Sky and Scroll, man, for like just a moment. My prowess, Scroll, you're gonna have to sit down this time.
What a performance from Cringe here at the end. I mean, to take down Sky like that, to 1v2, the best duo in EU coming into today. I mean, what a performance from him individually. This is a duo that we've seen rising up throughout the course of EU, a team that we have expectations of because of their talent level.
Ué? Caiu? Eita, caralho, caiu lá, doido. Internet do Fortnite caiu. Ih, caralho. A internet do Fortnite caiu, doido. Olha que cara idiota, velho. Na moral, velho. Olha que cara idiota, velho. Na moral, velho. O cara é um retardado, viu? Esse cara, mano. Na moral, viu? cara chegou na live, ó. Vai ver o idiota. Carrega, buceta. Tava. O bagulho travou, mano. O Fortnite caiu. Essa linha tá bugada. Será que é pra todo mundo? Tá assim?
Can you condition the teams around you? Make them perceive you to play a certain way. Make them expect things that are going to throw them off when you decide to change things up on the Sunday. It's all about conditioning.
I like that, the kind of preamble to the game that is finals. Ooh. Now, guys, I'm getting word. We actually have a very special interview lined up. Typical gamer. Where is that you? What's up? Oh, you're dressed up as your icon.
Yeah, this is me. Now I'm still got some pins in me, but I think for the special meet and greet I'm having tonight, I'm gonna be looking like my skin, which is really cool.
Dude, first off, of course, congratulations. You've got yourself that icon. How does it feel? I love the video that you can put out, like, I've been waiting, and then it's happened. You're celebrating. How did you feel, though?
Oh, it feels incredible. Finally having an icon outfit in Fortnite after all these years. I mean, oh man, there was a lot of emotion, especially during my long stream. I didn't expect to get hit by a wave of emotion like that, but it was all great. Seeing everybody come out and support, what an incredible moment.
That's awesome, bro. And I love to, many people may not know, but the fact that you kind of got a little, kind of like a nod to your wife, right? I remember commentating her all the way back in like fall skirmish, bro. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, well, she outplaced me in the first program that happened. So Samaritan's been playing Fortnite for a very long time, and it was so great to be able to get a nod to her. She used the Ruby skin a lot, and I was able to call it Red Wave Ruby, which is of course her last name. So also the back bling that we have in there, it's just like a personalized version of what she uses too. So, and I have my wedding ring, which is awesome.
Dude, I love that. Of course, how's it feel? You know, knowing, I don't know, you might have one of the coolest pickaxes we've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually crazy to see people rocking it during the tournament, and I think we'll see a lot more people rocking some typical gamer stuff on Sunday. I just have a feeling.
Yeah, just not, no big deal, just a slight little feeling. Well, I mean, interesting, don't you have your own thing happening right now?
Yeah.
absolute legend. Shout out to TG.
We can say it back to him now. Who's this TG guy?
They just let anybody get an icon skin now, you know?
He deserves it. He's been waiting a long time, and he's even a good competitive player as well. I remember playing with Noah W Plays. It was a few seasons ago. They made like Heat semi-finals, like that sort of stage of competition. Pretty good competitive Fortnite player as well. So definitely holding a few skills in that locker as well as this new icon happened.
Yeah, man, it's so awesome. Congrats again, TG. Love that you have the icon. If you guys want that, go check it out. It's in the item shop. Once again, congratulations. And also, he called out if you're in Seattle. Hey, you might be able to meet and greet. Say, I'm going to use your pickaxe. Remember. All right, guys, let's get ready, though, and focus back into the competition.
Eu entrei como espectador na porra do...
We're now halfway, with 3 games left to go. I feel like if I'm outside of that top 25 bubble, I'm trying to think, okay, I need to kind of put together something, right? Like, we need to pull out some kind of strategy. And again...
Start, right?
Meu Deus, eu não
Into
acredito.
this weekend, they're a team that have sort of been improving throughout the season. They had a rough start, came into the major finals absolutely, I suppose you could say, dudded day one. They were way down on the leaderboard, and then day two, they came out flying. So they're a team that knows how to perform in the latter half of competitions. Can they do it now?
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Click.
My bad.
I think you said about Rico earlier, right? This guy is one of the best fraggers in the world. Showcasing it here on the stage. I think the great thing about all of these guys here is we know how great they are as fraggers. In the case of Dom and Sky, it's interesting you have two players who actually are the IGLs or the leaders of their team, and they're still leading the way when it comes to the fragging. Again, it just shows how talented some of these boys are. A lot of EU, I might add as well.
A lot of EU on there, yeah. What's that about, Zeke? Was your hat gone missing?
Was this an EU only list? Is there like another list of the top fraggers that
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm completely unbiased, Zeke, right now, okay?
You have to
Calm down. I'm sure you guys can kind of hear it as well. You can see it on camera. Players are starting to return back, start to take their places up on that battle bus to continue the competition. And, you know, as I'm looking at some of these faces, man, I'm seeing some of them excited, happy. Others, I can tell, they've taken this time. They've really utilized this time to try and say, hey, we have a plan. We need these 3 games now.
Yeah, we saw it in the background of those interviews. They were actually VODing. They were looking at some of their VODs. They can't do it up on the stage. I think some people maybe at home don't know that. You can't sit and watch the VODs after you go out of the game. So that's going to be some vital time to not only do that, maybe talk to some of their mental coaches, some of their in-game coaches as well, even some parents, just people to help you calm down a little bit, particularly if you are a team that's lower down on that leaderboard. This section of the tournament is really where the experienced players, the players that have played on this sort of stage before, will now come good because they're able to utilize that time really effectively.
Yeah, I think for a lot of these teams, you know, especially once further down, a lot of it's going to come down to looking for opportunities within the lobby in their area, right? Is there any loot we can cut off? Is there any way we can just get an advantage on some of these teams that have been getting the upper hand on us around where we land? And yeah, you just have to pull out. All you need is one really good game for some of those teams who are just on the outside, right? And so you just got to make it happen now.
Yeah, and you can't forget as well, if you're a team like Yapco and Panzer, right, who are currently sitting in first place, you're thinking to yourself, all right, well, I'm good. I've qualified. Maybe I could even look to maybe contest some of these other teams, push them down to the lower bracket. You know, that's where this situation starts to get really complex, right? That's where the mind games start to come into play. Well, I know Mini and Lev, they kind of go here. I'm doing okay. Maybe I go show up there, slow them down a little bit, right?
It can make a difference. I mean, that's something that you were talking about earlier, Levin, that conditioning. Easier said than done, though, of course. I think you have to identify whether you are a team that's actually guaranteed to be qualifying through before trying anything too crazy like that. But you're right, it's something that those sort of teams, Yapco, Panzer, will have been looking at. How do we now condition the rest of the lobby so that we have a potentially easier run on Sunday?
We've seen a couple teams said it before the tournament even started. There were a couple players who said, I think I saw it in the case of like Shark and Teeny, right? Shark was saying to Clicks, if we are in a qual spot and you're not, we don't care about the rest of the games. We're just making sure you don't qualify. And that becomes a very scary prospect if you are a team in a similar situation, which there are a couple teams in that spot right now.
Yep. Use that example though, right? Clicks and Higgs are thinking, okay, so game 1, we got it. It took a long time, but we wiped them, and now game 2, we come back, they clap back instantly. Like, what the heck? We have 3 games to try and put something together. And again, like, think about that day 2. Think about that lower bracket. Even if we use the same example of Clicks and Higgs, they're currently in that upper bracket, right? They suddenly drop down in the lower bracket. Well, their plans have changed. Maybe someone else is looking to come to Wonky. Maybe someone in the lower bracket says, hey, wait a minute. If they come down into the lower bracket, maybe we would be willing to contest Wonky, right? And that's just one duo, Lev. How many other duos are kind of waiting for that opportunity in the lower bracket?
I think there are a few.
Yeah.
I think based off what we've seen, let's go back to our example of Shark and Teeny. I don't think anybody in the lower bracket is looking at these guys as we might want to land on them, right? Especially after what we've seen so far. And so I think it just goes to show what you do here, even if you are in a secure spot, still does matter. Like you said, for those teams of, you know, you ward them away and say, okay, if we do qualify out of lower bracket tomorrow, stay clear of Yapco and Panzer. They are not the ones you want to fight. They are going to hurt you. That's what you want to do in this lobby right now.
And remember, the players that do end up dropping down to lower bracket, it's extra scary for them. It's not just who they're contesting, who's going to be at their drop spot. It's also, you genuinely don't know what the rest of that lobby is looking like. Yeah, you know you have 25 teams that are already in that lobby, but there'll be some teams, of course, 25 of them on this stage that will also be in that lobby as well. So you just cannot plan for anything in advance for that lower bracket lobby. So you just want to make it through here. If you miss this opportunity, it's going to be such a loss.
Yeah, for a lot of these guys, you just don't want to even put yourself in that situation, right? Shark and Teeny, look, Shark's first time on a stage like this, I think everybody was curious as to whether or not he'd crumble, you know, with the pressure on him. I've tried my best to speak to him a bunch throughout, you know, the days we've been here, and he's just adamant. Every time I speak to him, he's adamant, Levin, I'm fine. Like, it's like, everyone keeps making this a big deal, like, oh, am I gonna be nervous? I'm okay, like, I'm gonna be fine. And we know Teeny has done this many times before. I'm happy that they didn't let that first game rattle them completely. They were able to reset, switch up the tempo, and start winning.
Yeah, that's kind of like the cool part about the upper bracket, right? Is like it is in a situation where like, hey, well, day 1, you're gonna have day 1 and day 2, kind of 12 games to kind of collectively, you know, see how that goes. Like, well, day 1, you've got 6 games to just be in the top 25.
Yeah, and to be honest, like, you don't even want to be thinking about day 2. You just need to make it happen here. Because day 2, it's the lower bracket. It don't get much easier. You got top teams in that lobby. You got guys like Iomzo and Josh waiting for you, waiting for you. It's like Iomzo's like a hungry bear, right? If I told you, hey, there's a hungry bear in that forest, you want to go in that forest? You're going to tell me no. You don't want to go there, right? And it's the same thing with lower bracket. You don't want to go there where these guys are waiting. They're hungry for an opportunity. Those were the guys who did well in the second chance. They took that chance incredibly well, and they will take it tomorrow if you aren't careful and if you slip up. And so you have to make it here in these next 3 games.
Yeah, you're right. All those teams have performed when their backs are against the walls, and that's exactly what's going to be happening now tomorrow. You just don't want to be going there. You can't see it as, oh, if we don't do well today, we've always got tomorrow, because you cannot rest on that whatsoever. So for those teams that are outside, I'm really excited to see what Clix and Hicks do now. I genuinely don't know what the solution is for them, particularly now that Shark and Senior have started to come into it. They're looking really good. How are they going to affect their gameplay? Do they switch up their entire drop spot? Do they end up landing on Pizza Watt? We haven't seen those guys having an amazing performance so far today. How are they going to do contested? Is it worth wasting a game to try and contest them? It's going to be tough to say, but it's been a fantastic day of competition so far. And this is when things really start to heat up.
And what's interesting too, and I love, like, this is so complex. The more you think about this whole situation, the crazier it gets, right? This is, upper bracket is a double-edged sword, right? You come in, you kind of show off maybe some of your strategies, some of your plans. But you got to be thinking in your back of your mind, well, those 25 duos are watching me day one. Yeah. So I'm already burning myself mentally trying to play and show that I can be in the top 25 day one. Oh, I missed it. Now I'm going into day 2 and everyone's looking at you going, hey, I just watched your entire day yesterday.
Yeah.
Those things that you might have tried to do yesterday, I've already come up with an opportunity to strike back.
But then you can think of it in the other way. It's like, is it more valuable to get the experience on stage, to play day 1, to look back at where things are going wrong? Or is it more valuable to watch what happened in day 1 and look back at those VODs?
I'm very happy to see this duo looking strong, looking good. Again, close to that threshold, but no reason, if you've been watching them in EU of late over the past sort of couple months, even the past couple years, it feels like they always just sort of teeter around that line, Mini, where they're almost there, and in the last couple games, they make a final big push and qualify, and I think there's a good chance we see that happen today.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we're looking, you know, at Reason as one of the really consistent LAN performers. He's been slowly but surely improving on each one of these LANs that he's qualified.
Yeah.
So it's actually nice to see him in this position and hopefully doing the same on Sunday, because his trajectory has just only been going up.
It's just straight improvement.
Yeah.
He's been at every single FNCS LAN since Invitational, and at every single one, his placement has improved and improved and improved. Is that trend going to continue, or is the reason 1v1 money too much that now you don't even care about the competitive? I hope not.
Boys, if you had to give advice to these duos, outside of that bubble, what's the advice?
I think stick to what you know for this next game. You don't want to try anything too crazy. But if it does come down to those final 2 games, even the final game, go for hype. The meta allows for it. Although it is messy, you could be that team that takes height and wins the game. We saw it with Sky and Scroll, but jumping up 30 places. For the teams that are just outside here, probably not worth it, but just try something different. Try something new, because yes, you do have day 2, but you want to get it done now.
Mini says, stick to what you know.
Here we go.
I say, pick up your game plan, rip it out, and try something new. Let's go crazy. Let's get wild with it. You know, you only need the 2 good games.
Okay, well, Levin, it's time to find out which plan they're going with, because the next game is ready for us. So, Captors, over to you.
Hey, I'm right there with you, Levin. I think you gotta tear the original game plan to pieces at this stage, Vivid, because they don't have much time left to work with. It's only 3 lobbies, and the margins are very slim for error right now.
I'm sticking with Mini Miner. I've said it multiple times before. I like sticking to what you know.
What if it doesn't work, though? What if you're in that Game 5, Game 6 situation? I agree with Levin that you might have to just kind of throw it all to the wall, leave no stone unturned, and really leave no regrets behind, because at the end of the day, there's nothing to lose. The second half of the day, and Game 4 is ready, so let's jump right in.
of the names that sticks out most, though, from during that halftime segment, Flix and Higgs, sitting in that 35th position currently, just outside of the top 25. Granted, Sky and Scroll have already proven one good match, one strong elimination counter can change course entirely and catapult you to that threshold you need to just go straight to finals.
Yep, now we got another team joining back into the mix. They may have left at least one game before, but Mini Pio and Fukun are back at Sandy Strip. So we're back on over to our triple contested fight. Interesting enough, it really hasn't affected Kanata and Victor V on that other side.
Yeah, taking their quadrants there. Quick little peek over here towards Wonky Land. Clix and Higgs, they got to be feeling the pressure. During the halftime, I got the opportunity to talk to Clix, and he was like, yeah, we're fully aware of the situation. It feels like Shark and Teeny are already qualified. They can pretty much do whatever they want to us right now because they got to be feeling comfortable.
And that's exactly where Shark and Teeny are headed. It is setting up home base here in Wonkyland to try and prevent Higgs and Clix from having those comeback measures. Still, job's not finished. You have to remember that because of the lower bracket's existence, nothing is necessarily solidified just yet. You still have tomorrow, worst case scenario.
Yeah, and while you have nothing to lose, don't want to give up on those opportunities. Both and Fringe just outside of the bubble as well. Contested fight against Visual and Braids. Both of these teams perform phenomenally on their respective regions, but when you're in a contested fight like this that honestly made some changes before the Summit land, and they weren't necessarily the best for a contested fight, so you really got to go ahead and get all of the loot to yourselves.
I'm going to be a hawk when we're taking a look at all these POVs. As we do take a look towards the elimination feed, Cole does go down, but on the screen, we've got Vocal, we've got Fringe, both picking up their respective eliminations, and that's going to be a clean wipe for them. An 8-point swing is going to put them on 50 points, and when we were taking a look at the leaderboard, right, that 25th place threshold was right around there, so that's going to be helping them out tremendously.
Well, it looks like a decent amount of teams that weren't necessarily faring the best here have already decided to try and switch things up, but Clix, Higgs still entangled here with Shark and Teeny, who have decided to just take the fight straight to them. They want to be direct. They've had so much success in these past two lobbies, the moment that they've instantly tried to collapse, but now it's Shark, 100 pump, that's going to be all of his shield. He has to fall back. He's waiting for Teeny to take the reins here, but Teeny, patent alert strategy, trying to see if he can find a separate angle, trying to see if he can get that closing shot onto Clix or Higgs, but for right now, the leverage sits entirely with Higgs and Clix.
Yep, even though Shark and Teeny almost all but qualified here to Sunday, you can kind of see why. They're just trying to shut down Clix and Higgs, not let them feel comfortable, get them out of the game early so that way they have a much harder chance making it through the lower bracket and eventually possibly contesting them. So it's really going to come down to how much Shark and Teeny want to continue to put this pressure down. On the flip side, though, for Clix and Higgs, you know, I was talking to a couple of the co-streamers myself, you know, from Boob to Faxity and Ozzy, to where it's like, what does Clix and Higgs need to do? And right now, we kind of all were agreeing. You either need to fight Shark and Teeny, or you just need to run away. And right now, it looks like they're going to fight Shark and Teeny.
Absolutely. They do have the position as they currently kind of get out from the boxes that they have been sitting in for so long. They now officially have the higher ground, but Teeny's looking to take the fight to Clix. He gets one shot in, get the shot on the Higgs as well. He's done so much damage, and they've got the advantage, but Clix does get a little bit of a return shot. That's going to be 58 damage towards his way. Shark's going to have the advantage right now. He's going to be coming over with the spray. Clix is looking a little bit lost. He has no materials to work with. He's going to be playing zero build as he does get knocked.
The problem there is that Clix is looking one way, but Shark and Teeny, they've got him straight in the middle, and Higgs, only so many options remain here currently because Shark, he's immediately trying to get on the impressor one more time, 100 pump, and that's going to do it. Higgs trying everything in his power to escape, but it's Clix who gets pickaxe in those final moments. Clix and Higgs have left the lobby so early in game 4.
Salt on the wounds, the pickaxe into the emote. Again, Shark and Teeny are in a situation where they literally almost have nothing to lose. They are so far inside of that top 25. They need multiple games of going down off spawn. Even in the replay, Clix gets caught out of position by himself. And Higgs, even though there was an advantage in terms of HP, he just tried to lurk. They caught him through the builds and then eventually pickaxed him back to the lobby.
Man, my reaction was if I had just eaten a sour candy. so brutal to kind of watch that one happen. Still 2 opportunities left for Clicks and Higgs. Let's hope for the best there as we're taking a look at some of our other teams around the map. Reet and Cooper, Brilliant and Jargo still up here towards the north. The Storm is going to be playing a part of this as it currently stands, but they're happy to kind of chill out and hang out up here.
Brilliant also definitely very content to get this first knock onto Ritual, but he's not finished. He's still looking to keep everything pushing forward. And Carillion, while we will take a moment to sit back, Agers gets put into the dirt there. Double elimination pickup. It is a very quick start for some of these teams.
Yeah, this is almost like a Cinderella story for Jargo and Carillion. They were literally almost not making it here. A few roster changes at the last moment, and it works out. They catch fire when they need it most. Thomas and Focus kind of doing the same things, landing over at Riptides. You know, they usually make their way down towards the south, but this time around, they went up north just a little bit towards Squibbly Shores, and they're still finding the picks that they need.
Vico and Malabuka, yeah, they're getting all of Frigid Fortress to themselves, but they know there are some teams surrounding them to the south. FKS and Hero are going to be finding their early demise to a team that's not too happy. They're taking some loot in the surrounding areas. FKS just gets beamed in the open. Shields are all gone, and Vico knows exactly how to play aggressive. He knows the mechanics of Fortnite so well. He instantly gets in and finishes that one off.
And part of that was just a little bit of a hiccup at the starting point there for Hero and Bacchus. They were doing what they could to try and salvage their starting point. We know that Bacchus was left in that really awkward position to begin with, but they're not the only duo. It's kind of just looking up and seeing what's going to happen to this leaderboard development after Game 4. iDrop and Medius, they're dealing with Fly and Cringe currently, who are riding off the momentum of that third place victory royale.
Yeah, and right now, with our top 2 players in damage, Hold and Panzer, our top teams out of this lobby, this is going to allow for the players at the bottom of the leaderboard, right up to the middle, to get more points. Because those guys were winning games. They were siphoning them out with eliminations. But now Cringe and Twy, 119. It's not necessarily a battle for first. You only want top 25, but you also want to push your competition out. You want to beat them both in-game and mentally as well.
Establishing the idea that, yeah, I was kind of mentioning around 50 points was that 25th place, and that's at the halfway point. So we just kind of double that over the course of the next 3 games. You can kind of expect that threshold to be around 100 points. And look at this, just a patented strat from Venno and Curve. Anybody that finds themselves anywhere north, near the southwest side of the map, just gets lurked on. His focus is going to be on the receiving end of that one.
And the big thing here, the one word that's sticking out to me right now is what Levin highlighted on the desk: conditioning. Curve and Venno, they haven't necessarily ran the same thing back twice, but they are trying to condition this lobby to not be able to anticipate where it is they're looking to set up base. They're pushing out into Riptides, they're pushing the south sections of South Boulevard, and it's just very difficult for these teams to find their footing. And Focus, Thomas, the strong competitors, but Venno is just going to immediately send the lights out there for Thomas, because they're now waiting to see whether or not they even are aware of the fact that Darm and Demus are nearby.
Yeah, Darm and Demus probably watching the feed. Thomas, Focus, they go down. Well, that's Riptides. They immediately made their way on over, and they're pulling a play out of the Venno playbook. They're lurking on Curve and Venno. They're just trying to make sure that if they make a mistake, they're going to be there to answer the call. And you can see, when it comes to materials, they're good. It's the bandages that worry me out of Darm, and you can see why he's even kind of rotating on over to Riptides. They wanted the mending machine, but they get damaged. That's the cherry on top.
And that's all they were really looking for. You could see how long they waited for Curve and Venno to kind of retreat, for them to actually go ahead and open up the shots right there. They didn't really want them to be close. They were just interested in getting some of that damage. So the eliminations were not really on their mind, just kind of playing it safe and making sure they can kind of find themselves in the end game. Venno and Curve got to be feeling pretty good about how they are doing so far in this game. And Sky and Scroll, as pointed out by the man himself earlier on, continuously find themselves in bases around Battlewood that are just up on these little hills over here, right? All they're interested in doing is just getting as many tags as they possibly can without taking any damage.
Still, going to take some time here, because the real winning moment for Sky and Scroll was just finding themselves jumping up so many placements on the leaderboard. And Vico, Malabuka, they're not content with what they've been able to accomplish so far here today. They're looking to be very safe in terms of top 25, but still, they want more. They want to take out as much opposition as possible because they don't want to allow anyone that they might view as being interested in what they have up for grabs at their starting point on the map. Yuma, a little bit of a question mark surrounding this duo because we know that they've been kind of trying to infiltrate Dark Dominion, but it's difficult to control this POI.
Yeah, especially when you got Vico and Malibu, a team that's on fire, hunting you down. They got that first elimination, and they made sure to keep pressure onto Yuma by himself. And just really keep note, because Swizzy and Pixie are also in Dark Dominion, and they made sure to keep the fight contained underneath where they knew no third party had a chance.
But as soon as the elimination comes in, Malibu seemingly just stalls out, holds that right-hand peak. He knows that somebody's around him. I have no idea how he has that information, but Vico and Malibu, they look scary as it looks like they have one thing in mind, just to play aggressive. And somebody that's kind of came out this weekend on Friday that is looking pretty comfortable with 116 points, it's Kanata and Victor V.
They definitely got to be feeling really good about their current state. They know that they're not necessarily at a huge risk of falling outside of that top 25, but you still want to keep things pretty tidy. You still want to ensure that you see the whole mission through and are on that battle bus for finals come Sunday.
Yeah, and you got to think about a team like this for Victor V and Kanata. Victor V, kind of the young superstar, especially on NA Web. He really got his first shot playing with these kind of known players with Paper. The next year, he played with Paper and Epic Well, qualifying for the Global Championship in both of those respective tournaments through NA West. And
pretty good, especially with the fact that the zone is landed in their home.
See, that might be a new view for you two, but I know over at EE Major 1 Finals, that was one of the most familiar scenes to anticipate from Sky and Squirrel, but Jonas, Veloz, they're gonna get that ball rolling here. X1, unfortunately, not gonna be able to push back, and Jonas will find an elimination, but you need more than elims at this phase. You need to start converting those into strong placements to really play leapfrog with the leaderboard.
yeah, relying on elims means you're just kind of relying to steamroll the lobby. And I think in game one, we saw that early Peterbot really kind of thinking it was going to be an easy fight and kind of going down early. Chap and Flixie rotating on over. A rather safe rotation for the most part. They're 500 above the damage threshold, but they're using these dips inside of Battlewood Boulevard. They get natural terrain so that teams can't secretly lurk on them or get shots, but they make it to inside of the zone. There's already 1, 2, 3, 4 teams waiting for them on the other side.
Yeah, And that's what makes it so tough sometimes. When these zones do pull so far away from you, you have to rotate into anybody that's already kind of set up. Nico and Malabuka, once again, going for the eliminations. They see Muzz. They know exactly what's kind of going on over here. They go ahead and pick up an easy elimination in regards to how they can go ahead and establish that. And Shark looking for eliminations of his own. He's a solo, and he just picked up 2.
Gerald and Vazen didn't stand a chance against Shark's domination there, but 255 above, he got enough wiggle room to at least box up momentarily, restore his shields with these last couple of big pots, but more importantly still, the solo points that he's actually been able to build. Normally you wouldn't want to bank it all off of E-Lens, but when you've got 5 to your name, it does make a difference after they've already had strong performance from these last couple of lobbies. Just making it off spawn seems to be the difference maker.
Gets the memo there in that moment. All the lobby does. They see him out as a solo, and they got to put pressure. Mini Pio was the first one to fall. Vazen's there. He peeks through the fizz, gets the elimination onto 1. This is looking like a montage right now with Shark just crossing names off his list. And I'm getting that old Peterbot feeling of years past. Like, yeah, he's a solo, but for some reason, I'm not worried.
My God, Shark, and look at him, he is still in the mix of things right now. He could go ahead and take a back seat to the ride that we have here in the late game, but he's looking to still get active. And when you think about it, he really does need to. 35 builds left to his name, but I'm mainly looking at that HP that he has left. He has nothing in his inventory that can go ahead and help support him over there. Take a look at the other side of your screen. iDrop and Marius, they are under pressure right now. Storm Surge is striking. He's going to try to make something happen, but he goes down 44 points to his name.
I'm starting to feel like Vico might have heard he was leading in eliminations. They're tied, and now he's like, nah, I want to be first place instead. But Malabuka's still looking to play catch up, and even still, Shark all by his lonesome. But with the way that he's playing, he's got the confidence of 2 behind him. It's evident in all of his movements, even going to get an opportunity to try and replenish some of his loadout off of these vending machines. But trouble might strike when you least expect it, and Malabuka Vico have just been completely causing so much chaos in this lobby. Finally, going to catch a little bit of punishment for it. Slightly greedy with their wraparound, looking to not tarp it out fully. So they were spotted, lit up a bit, but still 712 above. They don't care about the surge.
Yeah, even if they go down here, I almost all but 100% got their spot secured. 200 points, almost leading the pack. If they win this game, that would definitely be certain. But you see Peterbot, Poyo, Shockwave to the front side of the zone. You see Reet and Cooper elevated on one of those electrical wires. Everybody just really pushing themselves to the limit. They realize, yes, we don't go home today. We can't get eliminated, but this is the best shot we got at making finals.
Shark here still making the solo clutch kind of happen. Only 18 builds to work with. He's completely fine in terms of HP now. Oh my gosh, an entire loot llama just dropped right in front of him. He's going to be able to use that. And on the other side, Pablo is also a solo, but in a completely different scenario. 133 below. He's got to make something happen soon.
Just waiting for the zone to keep closing in. From the backside of the zone, he might be able to find some other players that are struggling just as much as himself. Only he's hoping that he'll be able to eliminate them first. Darkos has been knocked. Reet and Cooper, another one of our duos that's definitely looking for a big-time performance here. They want to see just how far in the leaderboard they can jump. And Pete, Poyo, well, things have been a little bit slow today. They're looking to amp it up now. Cole has been dropped. And now Pete, Poyo, looking for the biggest refreshes, but they don't even necessarily need them.
A complete anomaly. Peterbot and Poyo going in the 8th zone with 0 eliminations, but finally they pick up the one that they need to continue the run here. As you can see, the hunt is on. They're continuing to look back towards the rotating side of zone. They want to start to ramp up the eliminations.
Yeah, they're probably realizing at this stage in the game, the early game eliminations might not mean as much as just having consistent performances throughout the end game. But Reet and Cooper, they get contested on the high ground. Sayaz and Scary are now in the clouds. They're able to look down and put pressure on the rest of the lobby and even find the elimination onto Cooper.
It's the last thing you want to see if you are in Reet and Cooper's position, but Pete, he's just lost Poyo. Turning back, realizes that he's still getting aggressed by the rest of the lobby. That immediate focus proving to work against them, but Vico, Malabuka now frontside low. They're waiting to see just who they can actually snag up here. But first, Vico breaking ambushes. Peterbot still playing the low side, but he sees Malabuka, doesn't get a chance to actually fire the shot, but he comes straight to him, and that's going to be Madden instead. forced into an elimination. He needed that material.
The lobby's got to put a stop to Peterbot very soon, because when he gets rolling, it's hard to stop that guy.
Boa tarde! Fala, Cocô!
They're going to be taking hold of the mid ground right now.
E aí, como é que tá?
Right now to go ahead and heal up. Vico finds his demise. Gab Zero is now going to have the low ground claim for himself.
Yep, Peterbot now with no builds, forced to lurk down below, getting as much as he can out of the fizz, but it's only so much before Sky and Scroll run him down. 4 eliminations here, just like I was speaking on Cold and Rapid a few games in Scroll. Sky and Scroll could be one of those first teams from multiple wins.
É o campeonato do Fortnite só tem.
In this perfect moment, top 7 situation. There's only 2 solos running around right now, and Kanata's one of them.
Kanata will be forced to fall back, eat his last slice of pizza. He knows that he's got a team looking straight at him. It's Sky and Scroll refusing to budge. They're going to force Kanata to take a different route entirely, and Hadi now left as a solo. 4 eliminations already, just trying to look down onto the teams that are underneath where he's currently situated, doing his best to crunch around, but Science and Scatty are still holding down height. Finally, they'll be forced to converge with the rest of the lobby here.
Yeah, they started to feel the pressure. They felt like they were too high. They wanted to get into the mix. They dropped all the way down. They look for some shots. Sky and Scroll going to be amongst the duo that's going to be getting tagged right there. They have the advantageous ground. This is exactly where they want to be. But the solo was in the mix. He's trying to cause chaos. It's going to be Damus, but he cannot find the shot. Sky's going to pick him up, but not before falling down. And it's going to be Scary up on the high ground to find the final elimination. They're going to be picking up the win in game number 4.
They fought for that high ground, and they earned that high ground, using that to turn it into a victory royale on one of the biggest stages of them all. Has to have them feeling on the top of the world. That is without a doubt for sure.
A sala vai toda bugada, Cocô.
Congratulations! Come please stand up, Sayers, Scary Sean. Here is the camera. Dusseldorf, please give it up for Sayers and Scary Sean! And you can see there are Spanish flags waving in the audience. What's it like to take a victory royale on your first ever LAN?
Yeah, it feels like really nice to win a victory royale. We knew we were gonna win. Like, it was so easy. It's easier than a big one in Europe.
Easier than you thought it was going to be. Again, we're seeing this with the high ground. Duos seem to be getting it for free. How did you know, though, that you could take it from Reet and Cooper? Because that was an incredible challenge.
I mean, we just saw they were like kinda lost it, so we just used a shockwave and we killed them easily. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you did eliminate Reet in order to take the high ground from them. What is next for you guys now? Because with a performance like that, you have to be qualified for Sunday. Do you think it's going to be so easy to take the trophy?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. To be honest?
To be honest?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah.
Well, listen, we've got so many Spanish fans, as we've already heard in this audience, so please, one more time, give it up for Sides and Scary Sean! We're going to head to a break.
Cara do Dudu então. Ah, eu peguei, Cocô, horário, Cocô. Bora abrir lá. E aí, Cocô, vou lá pra ver roxinha, viu?
Tô assistindo, Nico. KKKK aqui.
É, mas eu vou jogar.